Hi, back in the car. It's a little bit later at night, hence the very intense red light on my face. Once they stop stepping their brakes, it won't be as red anymore. And also, why I'm wearing the normal glasses as opposed to my sunglasses. All right, now that all that very interesting stuff is out of the way, I'm back in my car and I want to do some more driving thoughts. This time I want to do more of a review. Two things. I'll start with the good one. Neither are bad, but I'm going to start with the good one. The first good one is Goat. I'm not sure if you guys are doing the same thing I'm doing, whereas like you see the trailer for Goat and you go, nope, that looks kind of mediocre at best. I don't know how good of an actor Steph Curry is. I like the kid from Stranger Things. But beyond that, kind of on the fence a little bit on this one. But, I got a kid, so the kid wants to go, so we go. And, man, what a good movie. Like, what a just an all-around just good movie. Like, I really dug it. It's, it's got some Miyazaki vibes, which are pretty cool, like both from like the color palette and some of the music they use. Some of it feels like almost straight lifted out of Miyazaki movies at times, but I don't think it was. I think it was all just, with love. The story is good, pretty standard, sports movie, if you will. But for the most part, it was good. Had a lot of cat jokes in it, which I did not expect. Had me laughing pretty hard throughout the whole way. The characters all feel pretty real and grounded. Some are better than others. As it is with any sort of like ensemble sports movie, you'll have your favorites. I think most kids are going to walk out loving Nick Kroll's Gecko character. I'm blanking on the name right now because I'm driving and not looking at a computer. But Nick Kroll does such a good job. I didn't even recognize that it was his voice until like the credits came up afterwards. Like, oh wow, it's Nick Kroll. Caleb as the lead, though, man, that kid's got some talent. I enjoy the stuff he's in. He's really showing up in his post Stranger Things life, and that's pretty exciting. Otherwise, you get a lot of little roles. Jennifer Lewis, famed actress Jennifer Lewis, she plays a role. Some people from Bridgerton is in it. David Harbour plays a character. Patton Oswalt plays a character. Tons and tons and tons of folks in it, and everyone does a great job. The animation is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. So highly recommend Goat. If you got kids, take them. If not, just go see it. If you like basketball at all, go check it out. Definitely worth a watch. If you like animation at all, it's worth a watch. Because I feel like this one's kind of getting forgotten in the world of the Sony animated films. Because it's not a K-pop Demon Hunters, it's not a Spider-Verse, it's its own thing. And it's great. You should check it out. On to the other one. This has been done for a little while now, but I just finished it last night. Talking about It, Welcome to Derry. Or Welcome to Derry, It. Or Welcome to Derry, no name of It. But, Pennywise is all over the damn thing, so it still feels like It. This show is a roller coaster of quality. I both loved and hated it. There's some stuff to be desired in there. They have a pretty good cast of kids. They don't nail every scene, but that's okay. The show starts with with some kids that I thought were pretty weak, but they don't stick around for too long. Not getting too spoilery there, a little bit. It's with Pennywise. They don't stick around very long. You fill in the blanks. Those kids were okay, but they're not there they don't overstay their welcome, is how I'll say it. And then some more kids show up. Those kids are better. Still just not the best. I never really felt connected to them as I did, the losers or lovers or whatever you want to call them. I've read it twice. I'm actually listening to the audiobook for a third time. So I'm very familiar with the story. I've seen the original, Tim Curry one a bunch of times. I've seen the Andy ones. Now I can't even tell you how many times I've seen the first It, chapter 1, if you will. Chapter 2, I think I've only seen twice. Not because it's bad, but because it's 3 hours long, which is a very, very long horror movie. Not that I think it's bad or too long or anything like that. I think it's the right length for the story they decided to tell. They had a lot of stuff in there that I don't think they needed to, but it's fine. And kind of what they do. If I had a major complaint about Welcome to Derry, it's that they added a whole bunch of stuff in there that they didn't need to. And that's not the Stephen King world stuff, which if you're at all familiar with the show, they brought in Dick Hallorann as a character, which is a pretty cool idea if you ask me. The idea of Dick Hallorann, who's got the Shining, this ability to reach into people's minds, having to deal with Pennywise, that's a good pairing. They deal with his box system, if you've seen Dr. Sleep, or if you're aware of Dr. Sleep, where all the things that he doesn't like, that scare him, he puts into a box in his head and they can't get out. They deal with that in a pretty interesting way. They talk about Shawshank a lot. People have gone to Shawshank, so it feels like Stephen King's world. There's even some Carrie references in there, so it doesn't feel as specifically it until about halfway through the show. About halfway through the show, I think it's about episode 4, Pennywise actually shows up on screen. Before that, he's kind of hinted at. You have very obviously evil characters who will start doing that Pennywise eyes turned out thing. It's oh, those are Pennywise eyes. Oh, I see what you're doing here. So you do have a few moments like that, but then the big man himself eventually does show up, and then he starts Pennywising all over the place. There are some things in it that I'm not a big fan of. Ways to fight Pennywise they bring in a lot. I won't spoil what those are, but it does kind of take me out of it a little bit. There's MacGuffins out there that can control this interdimensional god, which feels odd to me. I'm not a huge fan of that. Pennywise is more of a character in this, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. They really go into why Pennywise is Pennywise. Why is he this clown? And they when I say really go into it, it's one line of dialogue of oh, that could be useful for me, and then it just kind of moves past it really quick. But because of that, and because we're explaining where the clown persona came from, you get some history with the clown. Family members are where's my clown dad? Those characters are here, and for the most part, it's an interesting idea, but it's not fully executed in a way that had me ooh, I need more of this. It's executed in a way of going, what are we doing here? Are we just filling runtime until we get to the black spot? Because I feel this is all just killing runtime until we get to the black spot. Which, if you've read the book, you're very familiar with what the black spot is. If you've seen the movies, you've heard it referenced a few times. They even, Pennywise even uses it to scare Mike in the first movie. So you're familiar with what the black spot is, but this one actually shows it. You get to experience the black spot with everyone else, which is, it's an upsetting episode, to say the least. It's a tough watch. But then that episode and the one after, which is the second to last and last episode. Again, I'm trying not to spoil things, but it's been out for a little while, so I'm going to spoil a little bit. Those episodes for me are where the show just went from pretty good, and I liked it, to okay. Where I'd land at my 6 out of 10 rating for the series overall, which I've seen most 8 out of 10, so I'm not that far off from the norm. But for me, it didn't work. The black spot sequence in particular, it was just, it's so emotionally heavy of what's going on and these horrible people doing these horrible things. And it's all because they're inspired by Pennywise, but they don't really explain that too well, which I don't need them to. The more mysteriousness around Pennywise, the better, in my opinion. You see him there, and he's happy-go-lucky murder man. So he's excited to be in the black spot while it's burning and people are dying. But then there's a character who survives, and the way that they survive, I can't help but just go bullshit. It just didn't work for me. And it's during this very emotional sacrifice scene, and it's the person selling the sacrifice is just crushing it. They're doing such a good job. The person being, sacrificed for is bawling, and they're doing such a good job. But as I'm watching it, I'm going no, you'd both be dead. You'd both be dead by now. This conversation wouldn't be happening given the burniness of the building that you are currently in. And you're both totally fine. No one's coughing. No one looks, blackened from all the soot and ash and fire and death. They're just normal and just having a conversation. It really kind of took me out of the scene. And then the climax of the final episode woefully didn't work for me. I didn't expect the final of the show to be a foot race between kids and Pennywise on ice that neither one of them can really get a good footing. It just doesn't work. Yeah, like I'm just watching it happen, going like, is this really what we're doing? Like Pennywise sprouts wings and he like starts flying for a second. Well, why didn't you do that to begin with? Like what? You might not come up with a plan B next time. Because this one, it's not as bad as, say, the ending of, chapter 2, where they just yell at him to death. Which was, I guess, better than the made-for-TV movie, where I don't remember how they dispatched the big space spider thing. It was like a slingshot. I know when they're kids, he does it with the inhaler, but I don't know. It didn't really work. I mean, to be fair, the book is rather vague on what the monster actually is. It's spider-ish, monster-ish, thing-ish. So I'm kind of okay with not having like a specific good answer, but I'm less okay with the answer just being the clown. And there's just parts in this that, like in this last episode, where Pennywise is by himself with all of his victims, and he's still just clowning, just being a clown. And it's just like, but who's he performing for right now? Because I just don't believe that this interdimensional horror being that eats children as, gushers, gross, is going to waste his time being a clown for no one. The whole clown thing is to lure kids in, because they see a clown and like, ooh, free candy, free popcorn, free balloons. When he's just by himself, I mean, I guess, you got to entertain yourself. I don't know. It didn't really work for me, in general. And then they kind of set up the next season with like a time travel-y-ish nod, and then it just didn't work for me. Like, at what point are you just gonna bring in the turtle? Like, I want to see the turtle. Like, give me that. Like, just go weird with it. Like, Stephen King is so weird. His stuff is strange. Go for it. It doesn't all need to be like murder and horror. Like, I mean, I know that's why we're here, but I don't know. 6 out of 10. That'd be my review for Welcome to Derry It. Welcome to Derry It. 8 out of 10 for Goat, if I didn't say that earlier, which I don't think I did. And yeah, that's it. My double review of a kid's show and a grown-up show about kids. And that's all I got. So, keep watching these things if you like them. Keep watching them if you don't, because, why not? What else are you going to do? Watch, I don't know, the pop band